So now next speaker is again Paolo Grigolini, who will start his final discussion about the conference, and then will be maybe an open discussion, and then there will be the announcement of the prize and the conclusion of the conference. So now, please,
I have 40 minutes. I have 40 minutes, but I don't plan to talk for 40 minutes. I plan to activate. So my idea was to activate a debate on several issues. That one is comment about the written test of Alfonso Maurizio Iacono, and I think that Harvey might have a comment about that. And a second issue that I would like to address is some comment from Paolo Allegrini about the idea of defining a new theory for the derivation of fractional Riemann motion that should consist in two steps. Self-organized criticality generating crucial events, and then the crucial event destroyed by an environment that is the source of a disease. And this would explain very well a paper that he wrote with the data of Jelinek. But there is also an open question that has to do with the analysis of the work of the data that you got from Maurizio Benfatto, where he found at the very beginning emergence of a crucial event, and then later FBM. And it is not yet clear if this is a transition to the complexity of the trees, the vegetal complexity, or it is a source of stress. And to address that issue, you need one thing that you have to do is to improve our technique of analysis with using diffusion entropy, and then here I have two problems. I would like to see if I can attract attention. Well, I see that I think Kurush Mahmoudi is there. KM means Kurush Mahmoudi, and SK means Scott. And I would like to attract the attention of people interested in the analysis of data on the fact that Scott and Kurush made an important discovery. They discovered what is called scaling synchronization, which is very impressive. That Paolo, it is based on Paolo Allegrini. It is based on going much beyond the ideas of our friends, the Finkelkurt brothers. And when I mentioned that, he said something that you had already in mind, something like that. Can you, Paolo, can you make some comment about what you wanted to say a few days ago? Yesterday, I think. He said that when I mentioned your paper with Paolo Paradisi, Danilo Menicucci, and Angelo Gemignani, where he could show to us a very detailed analysis said, well, I had already in mind the possibility of many invisible crucial events. Can you complete that statement? By the way, you see, do you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to involve you in the research again. Is that you left 5 years ago, and I wonder if it is possible for you to go back to do, in spite of your work as a high school teacher, keep working on science.
Let me try to answer quickly but exhaustively. In many years, we have done a lot of work with Paolo, with you, on crucial events. That means actually intermittency or renewal system, okay? Let's say these are all synonyms. And we also saw that there are analyses like diffusion entropy, if used correctly, that is robust with respect to the scaling of these events, even if they trigger pseudo events, or even if you have noise superimposed on it, and even if many of them are missing, so you have invisible events. I'm summarized maybe 10 years of work on this subject, okay? So when we talk of crucial events, we know what we do, but maybe people might not see. But however, crucial events means that you have a waiting time distribution, and that's all you have, which is a kind of natural assumption if you have long-range correlation and dichotomous signal, for example. Okay, am I correct? For
Yes.
what the brain are concerned, what we did, we extracted the RTPs, the rapid transition processes. That means that there is an abrupt change in frequency or in amplitude in the signal. Sometimes we did that with filters, like Fingercourse did, sometimes only with the trending. And so I have to say that maybe some of them are not robust with the choice you make. So you have a lot of freedom to get the RTPs. However, when you do the diffusion entropy is robust. So for sure they are an indication of the presence of crucial events. And rationally, Fingercourse brothers thinks that they are real crucial events in the sense that some information happened there. However, I'm not sure that the RTPs are all crucial events, all of them are crucial events, and we are taking them all, okay? Many are missing, and some of them probably are not crucial events, okay? With Paolo Paradisi, we did a lot of effort in trying to understand if what kind of model was better, and I think that we agreed in the end that what we get from RTPs is a superposition of a few crucial events and also some Poissonian noise events. And of course, you clean a lot of Poissonian noise if you don't look at single channels, but you look at coincidences. So you look at RTPs that involve many nodes in your scalp. Okay, I think that then the problem is how many do you have, and are you able to do a diffusion entropy with those? Yes, we can. Yes, we were able to do that with a recording of an hour or so. Yeah, not with 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, but if I would like to make some comment about what you said. Kourous made an analysis which is not based on RTPs, and then he made a model that he called the shark and fish model that I found extremely interesting because he adopted the model. He applied the same technique to that model. So in other words, is a model of the emergence of the EGs, and is able to he found a structure similar to that of real EGs, and he found that so what the Fingercourt brothers call rapid transition event, you can find the local scaling, and he said that in his model, now I'm talking about model, the scaling that he found in that region is 0.5. What is important is the fact that the distance between two regions characterized by that 0.5 is the time distance is an inverse power law. And then he made the analysis. So is now I'm talking about the model that he adopted, and then he found what is impressive that the scaling changes, and that change of scaling in the case of the model that he adopted is can be very well explained. There are oscillations. He made a model where another important aspect of his work that Paolo, I think I can send to you. Well, the paper is not yet published, but as soon as it will be published, I can send to you. Is there is the emergence of oscillation, because one thing that you did with Bruce, we made probably you know that is he made a theory that he called a subordination theory. Subordination not to ordinary diffusion, but subordination to periodicity. And then he found the result that looks like, in fact, the EEGs. So he established a bridge between oscillations and complexity. What is interesting is that the model of Kurus has the property of generating oscillations. Also, the oscillations are generated by the model. I'm talking about model. So, in fact, I would like to stress to Kurus that I like his model, but I would like very much to him to analyze the model and at the same time the real data, the real EEGs. And so, in other words, what happens in his model that it is possible to have information about the scaling. So he takes a sequence of 10 minutes and he split that into 10 little parts of 1 minute each, and for each 1 minute he found the scaling, local scaling, and then you monitor the scaling as a function of time, and you can see the scaling changes, and it can reproduce very well the result that he found by a medical doctor, which is, by the way, a chairman of very important guy, is of Iranian origin, working in Dallas, and where so a guy that he does surgery. Oh, I don't know, Paolo. Probably it would be interesting if I send to you information about that guy, because
Sure.
he does surgery to the brain, and then you can see the patient can see can see their what happens, right? Because they can talk, they can play. So one of them was playing guitar, and at the same time the medical doctor was working on his brain, and so there is the scaling changes as a result of the motion of the patient. If the patient moves the head, so this is very impressive, and Kurus does succeed in reproducing very well those results. So we are in the presence of something that. So the reason why I'm talking about that is because I know that you are in Pisa. So I say here, I'm not in Pisa, but I see people in Pisa. They are dealing with the issue of examining data that are very short. And I believe that those results should be of big interest to Alessandro Fingitore. And you, hopefully, because I would like you to come back to do some research work with us, Paolo. So,
Alessandro is the yeah. No, for sure. Okay. Yeah. I think that I should leave the discussion to someone else, because otherwise, there are a lot of people here, and probably they want to say something too.
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's okay.
Yeah. No, just for the sake of not monopolizing the
No, but in fact, I was selecting some issues to discuss, including I have also a comment about the work of Fabio this morning.
But you are right. There is probably one thing that I might say, that the fact that working with criticality and the renewal in criticality with the brain was probably not enough to say that was a neural correlate of consciousness before having the data of people who are not conscious, so people that are in coma, or also people that are sleeping, because you have to compare in order to be sure that you are critical or non-critical. And I was saying today that there are features of criticality that are maintained also where you are not conscious. So consciousness is something a little more complicated than criticality. It kind of you need something more than criticality for consciousness, in my opinion.
Did you listen to the talk of Lucio Tonello?
Yes, and you need a little bit more than having an afferent system and an afferent system, because also in that case you have to understand which kind of experiment you have to do to validate it, to see if there is a neural correlate that is present for conscious people and is not present for non-conscious people. And but that was interesting. I think there are many conjectures that has to be studied much better. Now, I'm not saying this is wrong, and I'm not saying I'm right. We are not even saying anything that has any conflicting part. But we have to confront ourselves with the medical doctors and clinicians to understand what is conscious and what is not, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let us see that as far as the analysis of data, I would say that I would.
Okay, the rational is okay. I like the talk a lot. Yeah, but we have to understand. We have to make real experiments on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Bruce. It's Bruce talking.
To put together a proposal, Paulo's. Having to do with the onset of Alzheimer's disease that they've done in the mouse model. And they found that the 40 hertz flickering light and 40 hertz flickering sound reduced the accumulation of the dead protein around the neurons by 60%. Now, if our theories are right about the way the nonlinear dynamics of networks interact with one another, we can view this as the interaction of two nonlinear systems. One is the brain, or a portion of the brain, and the other is a synthesized network which has the capabilities of the healthy brain. And then using, by analogy, the work that was done in arm-to-arm walking that Dellinger did, where a senior citizen with Parkinson's disease who had a gait impairment, who was walking with a healthy younger person over a period of time, an hour a day for a couple of weeks, their gait returned to full normality and persisted for 3 weeks after that was done. If proceeding by analogy then to the 40 hertz flicker light that's administered to the mice, that's like the healthy person walking with the person with the disease, which is the accumulation of this stuff in the brain, because the healthy flickering light stimulates chemical reactions in the brain. That chemical reaction acts like a caretaker. It sweeps out the garbage that's accumulated around the neurons, and so it helps to rehabilitate the mice, and includes memory and learning that they do with tasks on the mice. And they're now doing pilot studies in Georgia Tech for what we're using. The graduate student and postdocs from the MIT experiment are now at the associate and assistant professor level at Georgia Tech, and they're initiating this stuff, trying to duplicate those experiments on human subjects. And that's and that is what I think is the kind of evidence that you're looking for.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sure.
And that would be able to establish whether the complexity management or the complexity matching vision he has for consciousness actually works out in practice.
Yes, I totally agree. And maybe at the next group meeting Saturday morning, in 1 week from now, is you have to go back to that issue. And I would like to, since you have only 7 minutes left, I would like to make a comment that has to do with the Fabio, because so the idea was so I'm sorry that I had to stop him. And when Fabio was showing, so he made a speech talking about the pseudo complexity, and which is wonderful, because he ended his speech with an equation of motion that I'm sure Bruce you liked. And in other words, he said that he called his seminar seed of complexity because analyzing the real data, it is possible to generate a dynamics that is seem to fit very well our point of view. And his last equation contained a fractional derivative, what I think it is a Caputo fractional derivative. I don't know if Fabio is still there, but I would like to tell him that I liked very much his talk. And
also, I wanted to say that I'm not arrogant enough to try to do this on my own, but I'm collaborating with medical doctors.
Yes.
Doing the Alzheimer's disease stuff.
Oh, Alzheimer's disease, right. So, well, what about, that's a question for Alessandro. Alessandro Piggiatore, are you interested in Alzheimer and Parkinson? Well, Alessandro mentioned to me the fact that he has data about heartbeat after surgery. And I think that I will do my best to recruit some students who might analyze those data. And yeah, Alessandro, you are there. So what about, yes. What about Alzheimer and Parkinson?
Non lo capisco. What about?
Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease.
Alzheimer? No, Paolo. Alzheimer. I don't know Alzheimer. I'm sorry.
No, okay.
You know, I'm a cardiologist and I cannot talk about Alzheimer diseases.
Right. But I would like to stress that one of the interesting results that Scott and Kouros got is a perfect, very good synchronization between the brain and the heart. So this should be of interest to you. And it's a very impressive result. That because, in other words, so there is an interaction between the brain and the heart.
Yes, there is, sure, and we try to study it, and I hope we will study together this. you know that on the clinical point of view, you know that there is a strong relationship because patients with depression frequently has heart problems with high incidence of myocardial infarction or heart failure, and vice versa. Patients with acute myocardial infarction, for example, in the first months of after the acute event, they can have depression symptoms. So there is a strong association. Frequently, you can see arrhythmias in patients with heart attack, with a stroke, for example. And there is, for example, a recent clinical history of my friend who had a stroke, and they found atrial fibrillation early after stroke. So there is a strong association between these two organs, yes. And it would.
So, Pingi, thank you very much. So I think that I have 2 more minutes, and I would like to use the 2 minutes that I have to express my gratitude to the organizer. I see Riccardo there, Riccardo and Roberto and Stefano and Angelo. You did extremely well. Let me tell you, that's a strong incentive for me to come back to Italy next summer. Next summer, I would like to be there in person. And I think there is plenty of work to do, and I am very happy about this workshop. And thank you very much for what you did.
You are most welcome, Paolo. Okay, we thank you. Now we have the poster.
Shall we start with the poster?
Yeah, we start with the poster. There is the final act. We have to give the prize for the best poster.
Yes, but I quit because this is the end of the conference. I cannot be there in person. Therefore, I say goodbye, and thank you very much for what you did.
Yeah, okay. So leave the word to Stefano.
So, as you know, the journal Chaos Solitons and Fractal sponsored a prize for the best poster of the conference. And so we have analyzed and discussed with the committee the poster which have been presented. We have to say that we were surprised and satisfied by the quality of all the posters which have been presented, which was very high. So the decision was difficult, but at the end we decided to award the prize, which is 250 euro to Lorenzo Amato for the poster titled Mean Field Model of Resting State Cortical Dynamics in Prodromic Alzheimer's Disease. So please, Lorenzo, the diploma, which is, by the way, half handwritten. This is an artistic work, as you see. You see, appreciate it. Can you show to the photographer? And so,
is he going to be invited to write a paper to go with the conference as being the recipient of the poster prize?
I think they asked about a paper.
If there is a paper ongoing from the research concerning the poster, we are writing it. Okay.
Well, I would think that you should write a paper because it's going to be a special issue of the journal for the conference, and since you won the prize for the poster session, you should have an exclusive place in that proceedings for that poster.
Especially because it has to do with Alzheimer, and which is of interest to you at Parkinson.
Yes.
We have special issues of fluctuations in noise letters for this meeting. Okay.
Didn't know that.
Okay, so
Okay, so thank you. Bye.
And so I think I can give the microphone to Roberto for the very closing salutations.
A very fine salutation. Okay, this edition of Dynamics and Complexity Pisa ends now. I hope you have enjoyed it. And I would like to thank all the supporting organizations at University of Pisa, the National Research Council, in particular the area of Pisa, the University of North Texas, the City Council of Pisa, and a special thanks to all the local organizing committee people, Angelo Di Garbo, Riccardo Mannella, Stefano Galatolo, Paolo Grigolini, is somewhere on the screen, and I would like to thank also Alessandro Buttoni and Marco Carloni for the constant technical support. Take note of your agenda. See you in the next edition, DCP 23. Thank you.
Bye-bye.